Hey, it's Crack 36, and I'm doing a live stream right now. And I'm gonna go to my Zoom and share screen. I'm gonna show video right now and see if we can get share screen. Okay. Oh, shucks. Hold on, I've got to mute my YouTube channel. Okay, so what I am attempting to do right now is to do some best practices for. Let's see here. Is that it? Best practices for, yes, okay. So we are sharing screen, I believe, and we are going to share best practices for YouTube wars. So let me see if I can edit this. And no, I can't edit this. That'd be crazy. I forget that. All right. Okay. So it's gonna start. Okay. So good. Um, so I'm gonna go. So I'm in Zoom. So if you have Zoom, one of the best practices would be to use Zoom. You can share screen. If you do access and analyze, you can minimize it and go right to access and analyze. This is one game I'm playing right now. And this would be sharing the screen. So Zoom is excellent. And if you have a YouTube account, it's not that hard. Most of us, after the pandemic, learned to Zoom. You can, if you were in Zoom, I'll just show you real quick. I might be able to show you this, I might not. Uh, you in the Zoom account, if you go down to, let's see if I can do this. Nope. Stop sharing. I think you can see that, but it's in the more section. In the more section, you can do all sorts of things like record, which is always record to the cloud, by the way. Don't record to the computer. It takes up a lot of space. And then you usually there's an option somewhere here too. And you can look it up on YouTube, um, and how to share live on YouTube. Let me stop sharing and see if it's right there. So it is in the more section, absolutely. And it's captions from the top, captions, doc, whiteboard, live stream is the next one down. And then you go to that, and you can also go to stop live stream. Okay. So I'm going to start sharing again because you're probably seeing nothing right now. Okay. So now, as far as, let's see, so this is tripleA. You could use this, and you could use it sort of bouncing off of. Um, Let me see if I can find the websites. AAA. Obviously, I use mine mostly on accessanalyze.org. I've got some messages I'm tempted to touch, but I won't. But you can also play straight off of the software, obviously, and you could use Zoom. I've also used Ice Cream Screen Record. If you feel like you have, this is a game I'm playing right now over at the AAA forums. Um, got a message there from probably Victory First, I would think. Nope, Billy. Um, and so, and why is my screen sharing paused? Probably on account of, why is my screen sharing paused? Let's check. I'm trying something new with my closet because I've got a cloth around me. So let me go like this. And all right. Let me just go over here and see if it's sharing. Well, it seems to be sharing, so that's good. Okay. So, so you got a couple options. You have also have screen recorder, ice cream screen recorder. Let me open that up for you. It's right here. It's a great app. I do have I did purchase one of the options, so I don't go the free. The free is only for 5 minutes, and that is inadequate for access and allies. Um, so Screen Recorder Pro. I do not have the latest version because I already paid the $30, and I have to get $30 for the newer version. So Screen Recorder Screen Recorder Pro, really good for capturing video, which I think I can do right now. Um, the biggest thing I would say is when you do that, make sure that you're capturing audio. The number of times where I actually recorded something and all you saw was the video and there was no sound, that's tough. So always do a sound check. That's why at the beginning of this, I did a sound check and I did a video check. And I did a video check in the middle here. So there's two possibilities there that I know of. Best practices, Screen Recorder Pro and Zoom. I really like Zoom. I have also enjoyed Screen Recorder Pro. As far as the software goes, again, open this up and let's go to AAA again. This is AAA Forum. I believe from here I could go to AAA website. Yep, right there it is. And so at the AAA website, you can download AAA. There, I will tell you that and there's some AAA on YouTube, by the way, would be another place to go for information about this program. They're very good. They're very hard workers. I contribute to them on a yearly basis. You can play by email. You can play online right here. This one right here is off of the website itself, not using the dice at accessknowledge.org. So there will be an option for dice. Let me see if I can show it to you. Okay, I'm going to get out of this. Leave game. No, I'm not going to be able to show you unless I show you people's and that's what I didn't want to show you. Okay, so I did not want to show you other people's emails. I think I did. I'm sorry about that. And let's see here. AAA. Let me just check this out real quick. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. I can do this. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't sharing someone's email if I can help it. Accidental. Okay. If you go right here to this forums part, you can either come out of forums or you can go out of AAA. And you can also, at some point in time, you can have the dice server is here. But here, this is what you want to do is you want to do the AAA. And this will actually end up sending dice to this right here is where you send it for the dice server options. And this will send these dice to the email. Okay. So now what I have done and what I would recommend for best practices for YouTube wars is not to do this. You don't have to worry about this. You could do this, but you don't have to do this part. We don't have to be attached through AAA. We don't have to be like that. Okay, what we do have to do is videotape stuff. Um, nope, this is not what I wanted. So we don't have to have a game going on AAA. We don't have to have a game going on AAA forum. And I have done a hybrid, one person doing computer, one person doing um, video on a table. So guys in Germany that want to play me, you could do your video on a table and I could hybrid it onto a computer. I could mock it up or mod it up and then just play it on the computer. Now, let me just say that in all of this, except my live stream option, there's a possibility of cheating, right? I mean, if you really want, if you get hosed, like I got hosed in my last game in 97. I had twice as many units as he did, and his battleship ended up surviving. And all 11 of my units, I think, and he had six, and my 11 were all killed. And his battleship remained damaged, one battleship, and he kept his transports too. So I got hosed. Well, that's a demonstration that I'm an honest guy. Um, and I live stream because I live stream, you know for sure that it's real. So that's another best practice, but it's not necessary. I played with a I played with Schultze. He's a lucky guy. I assume he's not cheating. Do I ever feel like maybe he might be cheated? And yeah, sure, you feel like that. Get rid of it because if you're going to have that feeling, you're not going to be able to play on YouTube, of course. So it's either you're going to play and have some faith in humanity and faith in the guy you're playing, or you're not. That's on you. This is where you download, and then the help and forums would be here where you play online. But again, in order to do YouTube wars, you don't have to play online. Now, I could right now, um, you could play two people playing online. This is my forum account, and I've got watch games here, and I'll just go down to doggone its game. Um, I'm winning this game. That's one reason I'm showing it to you, and by a good bit. But I'm also using the game to figure out how to kill the Axis. You know, it's one thing to win a game, but to do it in a way, it's like dealing with a porcupine. Shucks, I'm gonna stop screen sharing for just a minute, um, and it's gonna be black. But I just want to get up his game without select without doing the emails. Nope, without revealing his email. I don't think that's fair. If I can avoid it. And it would be useful. I could try to do it with my own email. I'm going to share screen. Uh, see if it pops. Hold on. It's up and coming, up and coming. Here, I think. All right, there's that's not it. That's not it. Mhm. I'm sure what you can see. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing it this way. Somewhere here is there it is. Sorry. So let's see if we can. So this is how you would share screen, and this is live stream. Again, you wouldn't have to live stream. You could do a screen record on live screen record. I'm sure there's other videos, or you could do just a regular. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Um, But for best practices for honesty, complete honesty, obviously live streaming is the best. Second is you have to trust the person. It's just the way it is. Obviously, someone could shoot a video and then shoot the whole video again. They could. That's just a fact. Um, they could do that with with their iPhones, or their cameras, or their iPads. But when you do a live stream, obviously, it's a little bit more, better. The other one would be to be signed up and do a game on using tripleA forums. And if you use the tripleA forum, you're going to receive the dice in an email. right? So that's really advantageous and a check. It's kind of like the difference, honestly, between airsoft and paintball. When I played airsoft, people were like, oh, paintball is better because you can see where you hit someone. Yeah, the first two games, but they have a dumb rule, by the way, that if the ball doesn't break, you're not hit. That's a terrible rule. Number two, um, if you're hit the first time, unless you completely wipe the stuff off your body, just that was last game, you could say, unless they hit you on the helmet. So the three sure ways are live stream is sure. I was going to show you accessknowledge.org. AAA forum, playing through the forum is sure for honesty. And number three is um, playing on accessknowledge.org. But again, and you could sign up and you play by forum, and then you get emails sent over, like I showed you earlier. But that is all, in rank order, um, live stream, and then receiving the dice to the email, and then you have just recording stuff through ice cream screen recorder, or by using your camera and then uploading it through YouTube. But the whole thing is to remember that we're playing a game, we've got a hobby. I got to trust the people I'm working with. So I do think that is important. I try to cut down on that when I'm playing with you guys. I don't know why. I just think that um, I want there to be as much transparency as possible. Plus, live streaming is a big deal, right? I mean, if you can end up live streaming, that's a certain audience that wants to see things live streamed. Um, so that's really cool. So, best practices for playing on the computer is those ranks from live stream to um, using a server, the dice servers at accessknowledge.org or AAA, and then fourth on the list is using your iPad or ice cream screen record in order to use the software and then later upload it. Now, as far as other best practices, um, there is flexibility with the software if you're going to use the software with editing. But if we're getting in some of the house rules, it can be tricky, and you want to, as much as possible, show what you're doing. A lot of times you can do that here in the history section, uh, and then you can widen this out, and it even shows edits that you do. I don't think I've had any edits, but so this might be a bad example. But you can show edits and and then you want to begin the video with saying the round you're in and your game you're playing and any like house rules that you're adding, what version you're playing, and you also want to say who you're playing against. You might also include the date, and where you're coming from. So as a YouTuber, I would include all of it. So again, version you're playing. Um, you might include if you're using AAA, just grateful to them for their software. And then if you're using a site like accessknowledge.org or AAA, you might include that too. And then I would include the date and the turn it is and what game you're playing. Give your game a name. Like we've got Access Knowledge House Rule Technology House Rule game number 4, which we just ended actually after just 3 turns. Um, two, well, Germany 3 was the last one we're going to play. And I'll explain that later in another live stream. But so you want to include all that, and then you want to say whose turn it is, and then you want to walk through. And as much as possible, when you're doing something, like for instance, if I was doing this turn right here, and I did, if I said, this is Germany's turn, and this is going to affect anything. I know Japan's turn. Japan is buying, 19 infantry. Right, he's not going to do that. Right. So he presses done. None of this actually shows up. You can only purchase 13. So let's just change this and go to 13. And then we buy an aircraft carrier. Sure. All right. So say we did that. Um, no. Okay. Change it. Say we did that. Extra $5. So none of that shows up in the emails, by the way. That would not show up yet. So nothing I have done so far would actually quote unquote count toward the game. Everything could be adjusted. Then you do like let's say you do an attack. We'll say this is attacking here. Okay. So then you go done. Now I would say even up to here and into the non-com, if you forgot something, we are flexible. I am flexible. If you forgot that you wanted to purchase canned soup, even on the board game, right? It's a walk-in. It's an important walk-in. I don't want your whole game to be wrecked by a mistake. Okay, I don't want your. This is a long game. This is a big commitment. It's a big commitment on my end too, by the way. I'm playing a game right now with a guy, and he came up with a French rebalance, and I messed up the rules. Now I'm already probably 5 hours of personal time, maybe six into this game. I would have loved to have actually done the rules correctly. I felt like we should have restarted. So this is a big commitment, and if you got a single thing that needs to be done, like a combat that you're doing going into non-combat, I don't have a problem with that. There are some protocols where and none of this again will show up because I didn't roll any dice. None of this is going to show up. So I think even up till placements that there are some things you could do, and you're fine with doing. Even at this point in time, if you said, "Hey, can I do this?" I would ask permission. And let's say you did this, you went to edits, you move this guy, you remove him, then you add him to this unit, and you go Japanese, and then you go just Japanese. I think it was an artillery, and then you do change territory. So I'm fine with this. Some players would not be. You need to ask. That's just polite. That if you make a mistake, you ask every time. Um, and you can, by the way, zoom in and zoom out of this. So let's say we do this, and let's say I'm not really doing this. Nothing's going to show up in the email. Um, okay, that might have showed up. But he can always, nothing is going to show, that shows up. So right there, I just had stuff that would show up in the email. But I don't have to load this game up. So I'm not going to load this game up. But what I'm trying to say to you is even now, if you had some stuff, if you wanted to ask, I would not be terribly upset. It's still your turn. It's like in chess. You haven't taken your hand off the piece, or if you don't play like that, you don't punch the clock. You look at it. You're not satisfied. You, uh, but now what I don't like, I got to tell you, is I don't like changing purchases. So at this point in time, I would not generally, um, I wouldn't say no if someone asked me to, but I don't like you asking. So I would say if you get done with that turn and you place and you've done combat, I would say combat is the one thing where as soon as you press, let's roll those dice, or you're on the board and you start rolling dice, you can't change your purchases. Okay, that's what I would say. Now, if you ask me to, will I say yes? Probably. I am too forgiving. Okay, but I'd prefer you didn't ask. Okay, so I would say that's a solid protocol for me. That as soon as you roll those dice, you can't change your purchases. Now, obviously, if you're playing a nation, the Americans and the Chinese. Okay, so you're the allies. Let's get out of this one. You're the allies, and you go. Whoops, I just did what I said I wouldn't do. If you're the allies, uh, okay, let me do it again. If you're the allies, I think you ought to try, and I'm trying to be as delicate as I can here, or as forgiving as I can. I think that you ought to pre- that when it's China's turn. I'm trying to make a rule because I think I've broken this rule before. So if the big allied turn is one turn, okay, it's United States, China, Great Britain. Now it's really the allies work together. So I would say you can't change your purchases after the roll of the dice, but I would also say that your non-combats um, and your placements could be changed because I see U.S., China, UK as one move. And so non-coms and even placement could be adjusted all the way up until the last British turn. Now, if you don't agree with that, let me know. I can respect your decisions. I We are playing a game, so I do think non-coms. You know, if you have more stringent rules, I will abide by those rules. But my only request is that, um, for instance, Germany, it's an access disadvantage. But when Germany finishes his turn, before Russia starts theirs, you can ask for changes. But as soon as Russia goes, I, you wouldn't be allowed in the Italian turn to go back and change something for Germany. Okay, you wouldn't in even Japan in the Japanese turn. Once the Russians have moved, the Germans cannot change anything. Right, as soon as the Russians start their movements. Um, Now, could you ask? I guess you could ask. I don't think you should ask. Uh, so yeah, but a lot of times these games, you'll do your turn on Saturday, and I won't do my turn. I'm doing my turns mostly on Sundays, Mondays. So I would prefer that before I do my turn on Sunday, Monday, that you would make any changes. So, and if you wanted to make an hour restriction on that, like 24 hours, um, or me shooting you a text and saying, you know, hey, I need to make an edit before you do your turn, awesome. But when Japan goes, Germany cannot be changed. I mean, when Russia goes, Germany cannot be changed. Then when America goes, Japan cannot be changed. Um, and then when Anzac goes, Italy cannot be changed. Okay, it is a bit, like I said, it's a bit of a disadvantage that you don't see this big three nation move. That's true. Um, but on the other hand, the game favors the Axis. So that's true too. By at least 50 IPCs, that's a big deal. So, protocols on the computer. I've gone over when you can make changes, ask about edits, when you can make non-com, particularly combat moves, combat movements into a open territory are allowable. Combat movements into an occupied territory will have to be an ask, and that would be like a mulligan. You want to call that a mulligan. That's the language you want to use is a mulligan. And maybe we both agree at the beginning you can have one mulligan. Because, like I said, we are committing 5 to 10 hours of our lives, um, of our free time. So, do I think you shouldn't call for a mulligan? No. Let's say that let's agree on the number of mulligans we have. And that's not an edit. An edit is before the turn. But if there's something big you missed that violates everything I just said, that would be a mulligan. Okay. Um, and maybe we could allow one mulligan because, you know, we're trying to have fun. So that's one of those where I'm telling you, don't ask. And if you say the word mulligan, it's kind of like a trump card. Okay. So I think I went over everything that I wanted to with the computer version. I'm going to go downstairs and actually do a quick video also on the board version. Like I said, we can do the amalgamation of the board and the I'll just do the video real quick. I'm trying to test the sound quality. It's my closet. This fabric all absorbs sound, and I've got doors shut, and I'm just trying to trying to increase my quality. So I'll stop sharing that because that's kind of embarrassing. But um, I don't have my own little studio or audience. But all right, let me get rid of the video there, and I'm always trying to improve. I watched the video with Board Game Nation, and they are, you know, emphasizing um, excellence, and that's great. And I really do. And someday I might be able to be their level. I think I will when I retire. But right now I've got lots of responsibilities. I've got a job that takes 9, 10, 11, 12 hours of my day from, leave, get ready for work to take a shower after work. So that's too much for me to be, um, messing around with trying to make this. I mean, if that was the level that I needed, um, it would be insane. I couldn't do it, right? So I would rather do something than not do something. That's just true. So um, that's the facts of life. And so eventually, I think I will be able to do something. Um, but at this point in time, I can't do it better than I am. So, but I am always looking to improve because when I do have the time and I can put it out in a more rolled out professional way, I'm testing all sorts of best practices. So, um, I will try. I'm not going to promise this. I will try because I've got gardening to do today and I've got people coming over to visit. Um, just clean my house in the morning. Uh, I've got a lot going on. I will try to write this up in a document, but this is why I'm doing this so that you will know that yes, you've got one mulligan. In general, you should never change your purchases after combat begins. If you really want to, be tip top of the uh, transparency scale, you could learn live streaming through Zoom. You could do the dice servers through tripleA or through accessanalyze.org. Oh, by the way, there is a play by forum here. This is real. No, I'm sorry. It's not play by forum. I always forget how to do this right here. It's play online. You can actually also do this, which is crazy. I never kind of remember how to get in here. It's my name, Randy Van Dyke. And I've done this maybe once, but there's usually some sort of you host. Usually there's more people here. I don't know if it's dead or quiet. Let's pretend I'm going to host. Host game. There we go. Join game. Here we go. I bet there's somebody here. No? All right. Looks like the lobby is quiet. I'm going to put a password in, a fake password. Require password. No. This would be, if you did this, you're open to anybody. All right. Let's say that we were going to play. I'm just messing around right now, guys. Select game and host network game. Your computer is not reachable. Ah, okay. You do have to mess around with the ports. That's right. I do remember this. Um, you have to do some configuration stuff, and that's usually in the help section. The tripleA user guide, which has a tutorial on how to host. So if you're going to host, it's a little more complicated than just joining. So I did remember that. Unfortunately, with this complicated stuff, honestly, um, it's better to do it like a couple days in a row. Because if you can do it a couple days in a row, it'll actually give you, just some the knowledge. Because I play around with some stuff and get it figured out, and then come back later, and I'm like, okay, now I'm starting over from the beginning. So I've gone over best practices. I've mumbled on and jumbled on and rambled on and ranted. But yeah, this is a fun game, and I think anybody who wants to learn, I will teach you how to YouTube. Even if you don't want to play with me, I can sit down with you via Zoom and I can teach you. So this is an open invitation. I want more people playing as online. I know some of you guys like playing solo, and that's totally legit. And I'd actually like to develop some solo rules. But um, if you want me to teach you how to set this up, I can screen share with you. You can screen share with me, and I can walk you through the whole thing. I can set you up to play, and you don't have to play me. There is a ton of people playing. Let me just show you again on accessknowledge.org. There are lots of people playing. They're playing sometimes on they're playing on the forums, and there's playing on the leagues, but they're also playing just casual. Go down here to play board game, play board games, and you've got all these guys that are playing. They're not playing in the leagues. They're playing 1914, D-Day, Classic, uh, new games like World at War. Um, Seeing anything here? That one is Classic. Um, See if there's any global games going on. Oh, here it is. Global 42nd edition variants. 1914, 90. This is low luck. Um, 1942. There we go. Okay, so I've just showed you a lot that's going on, a lot of people playing. I don't know how many, I don't know if there's a count on how many people are on the site at the moment. Maybe there is at the bottom. Let's check it out. There's 51 online right now, 17,700 users, and 40,000 topics. Okay. So this is good stuff. And that's not AAA. I'm not as experienced at AAA, but let me just go over there real quick. And we go here. We go to categories. We got news, players, help, Ward Club, general matters and strategy discussions related to AAA, maps and mods. This is where the tinkerers go. Developments, building features, directions, initiatives, challenges, and coding. AI, play, and then any questions you have. And then this is the ladders, which I believe is um, invitation to request a new ladder and tournament site. So I think you can create your own ladder and your own. So I haven't got, this is new stuff to me. I haven't really looked at this. Some of this is old, 2019, but some of this is new, I think. There's a 2022. I guess these are 2024. Just wondering. Here's 5 months ago. And like I said, the game I have going on is I'm watching four different games. This is 5 hours, 11 hours, 19 hours, and a day ago. Um, so there we go. All right, I have showed you guys a lot, and I've talked about best practices for YouTube wars. I've showed you some different ways to do it, and I hope this is helpful. Um, I did ramble on, and I did go a bunch of different places, a bit of a Herodotus, and that's the way it is. And I hope this helps. If it doesn't, I can always take a phone call. And yeah, love to talk. All right, Crockett out. Okay, I got to go over here. I'm going to do this sort of quote unquote the right way, which is to go into this and stop live streaming. I'm just going to take it a minute. Stop sharing screen. go down